What is up, everybody? Spidey here, and as always, I hope you're having a marvelous day. Have I got a treat for you? It's something a little different for the channel, but it's still trading card related. We're going to be talking about the 40th anniversary of Transformer trading cards. We have the creators of those cards and even the characters on the channel with us today. We're going to have them hop on. First, we got Mariano. How's it going?
Hey, Spidey.
Hey,
Doing great. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for making this happen. We've got another special guest, one and only the legend, Mr. Simon Furman. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Spidey. I've always wanted to say I'm good, thank you, Spidey. You know,
I made it happen.
Bucket list ticked already.
I love it. I love it. We have some friends that are jumping on right now. So let's start with Mariana. Why don't you talk about your involvement with Transformers and specifically these trading cards? And we're going to get to the big Kickstarter announcement here shortly.
So I'm working with Dynamite Entertainment, and the owner, Nick Barucci, negotiated a deal with Hasbro to bring Transformers to Dynamite. And for the first time ever at Dynamite, do a trading card set. And we geared the whole thing around this 40th anniversary, which has really picked up steam and taken on a life of its own. One of the very first things that Hasbro asked of us was to concentrate on the Generation 1 characters, the genesis of the Transformers. And they were very specific about wanting us to base everything on the actual toys, the toy molds, the toy package illustration, and to go back to the comic books that initiated the characterization and the background of the Transformers, which is still in use today. So the first thing we did, we went back to two individuals, one of them Bob Budiansky and the other one Mr. Simon Furman, who back in the day were instrumental in shaping the Transformers that we know today.
That is awesome. I mean, to go back to the first generation and really focus on the toy design, that really touches on the heart of Transformers, which was created really to be a toy, right? Like it wasn't created to be in a comic book, and then happened to become a toy later. It was for the purpose of being a toy. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. We went back to the roots, and the roots begin with a toy. So yes.
Well, I would imagine those fans who've been around for the 40 years have got to love that. Mr. Simon, what is your involvement for those who may not know?
Well, I mean, I've been the writer on Transformers comics, for nearly 40 years now, maybe even 40 years. Wow. So, I've been involved with Marvel UK comics, Marvel US, Dreamwave, IDW, and I've written for many other things. I've written for Beast Wars and previously just about every sort of iteration of Transformers games, comics, whatever. So it's really seeped into my whole career, really. Transformers.
So what was it like to get the call that they were making this 40th anniversary set?
I was really pleased that it's the classic characters, it's the classic cards, the classic molds. Transformers has transformed so many times. There are so many different versions of it out there now, but this year really is a celebration of the original characters, the original cast, those sort of founding, grounding stories that, Bob Budiansky in the first place, and I came in afterwards on the UK side and then later on for Marvel US. But, it laid the groundwork for really everything that followed. So it's great to take it back to its roots for this 40th anniversary.
Well, that's awesome. They got the right guy to be involved with it. That's for sure. So what I'd like to do now is actually show the Kickstarter. You guys have a promo, and then let's let the viewers see that, and we'll get into it and then start answering some questions that are already popping up in the chat. Let me get that on the screen. And here we go.
Rollout. It's the 40th anniversary of the Transformers, and we're celebrating 4 decades of robots in the sky with a massive trading card set. The Transformers 40th anniversary trading cards feature art from early G1 characters and concepts to the newest iterations. This card set has it all. Limited edition subsets, autographs, original art sketch cards, and more. We've created the ultimate trading card celebration set to complete your Transformers collection. You can get special super limited deluxe card packs, or boxes of traditional card packs, or even extremely limited collectible subsets that are going to be impossible to find. We have autographed cards by voice actors and one of the original architects of the Transformers comics, Bob Budiansky, that are incredible collectibles. Check out all of the amazing options here on Kickstarter and help us to unlock some out-of-this-world stretch goals exclusive to Transformers collectors here on the platform. This is the Transformers collectible you've been waiting for.
Well, guys, what do you think of that?
That's very cool. That's the first time I've seen that, and
Is it really?
I've got to say I'm kind of excited about it now. You know, so I mean, I've been involved and I've written some card backs and signed some of the cards, but you know, seeing it all like that, it looks very cool. The set.
I have to tell you, the trading card collector in me was really excited to see that binder. The idea that you get a collector's binder that's official with the set, like that, is that something that's going to be a part of the Kickstarter?
Absolutely. It's two different tiers of the Kickstarter. And the binder has a front back and Autobot on the front, Decepticon on the back. So it's really a cool design, and we've been working very closely with Hasbro to shape all of this and design it in ways that they approve and they're behind and they love.
Yeah, I do really appreciate that Hasbro is significantly a part of this, because part of, us crazy collectors, we want to know that it's official and it's licensed, like it's the thing. And, obviously this is licensed, but to hear, Hasbro's involvement, it's going to, make sure that it's quintessential Transformers. So you want to talk to us about the tiers that are involved here?
I don't have it up on my computer, so I'm going by memory.
Okay.
But there are tiers that are going to include, right now you're scrolling through it, there's actually two sets being offered, two different sets. One that we're calling a collector set, which is a more typical packaging. It's 10 cards to a pack, 24 foil packs to a box, and various cards, 110 base cards, 110 parallel cards, and then a series of different chase cards randomly sprinkled into these packs. Again, very traditional trading card set that you would find for practically anything. But of course, these have Transformers material, which makes them super special. The other set is more of a dynamite. I don't want to use the word proprietary because that's not true, but a dynamite developed format. Let's call it that. And it's got a lofty name, a deluxe ultra premium trading card set. But the reason it's got a lofty name is because every pack, which we package in these special sliding tray boxes, so we call them mini boxes, but every mini box has guaranteed chase card material. So it's a very limited run of base cards, and then a guaranteed 2 sketch cards per pack. Those sketch cards are actually hand collated, and we're making sure there's one Autobot and one Decepticon in every mini box. And again, hand collated, which means there might be a close-up of a character in one card and then a body shot in another. So everything is very well balanced and all done by hand, as I said. And then there's chase cards, some rare chase cards, line art cards, the aforementioned Simon and Bob signed cards. There are some, we call them connecting art cards. Those 9 cards that link together to create a large mosaic picture. Everything that we've done, everyone behind the scenes, like you're seeing me on camera talking, but there's like 30 people working side by side with me. and all of us are collectors, and all of us are fans. So we have created something that I know appeals to us as fans, and hopefully will appeal to everyone else, and the trading card fan in them.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, you're hitting on some of, especially us 80s and 90s kids, when you're talking about a 9-page connecting card picture. That's something we love for sure.
We've done a lot of different things, a lot of random selections. There are metal cards in these sets. Obviously, parallel foil in the collector set. So there's just a ton of stuff to sink your teeth and go into, and some of it is exclusive to Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only available on Kickstarter.
Wow. So do you want to talk about the stretch goals? I see here we got one that starts at 84,000. Now, I know you may not want to reveal what those are yet, but you want to speak to that at all?
So we talked about metal cards. We talked about foil cards. There are all sorts of different types of paper and material that can be used. So these stretch goals will be special cards. Content will be special, of course, but the paper that these are printed on will be special and different from anything
Oh, wow.
else. So again, the collectors in us your reaction right there was exactly the behind the scenes, like to create the oh wow moments, the making it worthy of going for that stretch goal. But you're right, I can't reveal too much. I have to be careful what I say.
Don't. Yeah, let's not get anybody in trouble.
This is starting with me. I'm the one who's going to get in trouble.
Well, I think it's impressive that you guys are already at 236 backers at 63,000 within, barely 3 hours of going live here, 4 maybe. So it looks like that first stretch goal, you guys are going to have to reveal that one pretty soon.
We will all find out together.
Yeah. I have some questions here in the chat I'd like to get to, and then we have some images that you've sent to me that we can show. Say hello to a few people. We got Kid Lee here, says hello.
Hello, Kid Lee.
Yeah, the Car Collector Show. We got Cassera, a good friend of ours. He says Kickstarter's already passed 60,000. T-Bear's here. We got Running Back Collectibles, says hello. Manu, the 9.9 newsstand. George says hello. Chuck says hello. He's 71 years old. He's still hanging out with us. We got Leto, great guy. We got the Drugger Nut. I'll tell you, the Drugger Nut is someone that I've been chatting with privately once he found out that I was going to be hosting kind of this Kickstarter kickoff video. Big fan of Transformers, big fan of Simon for sure. And I know he's already put in his order to back.
Thank you. Fabulous.
And a big prize for me.
Absolutely. The Hangout Dojo says, aren't these already coming out in 2 weeks? Seen pre-sales for these for a while on Dave and Adams, which is a website that you can buy cards, and other card site. So did you want to talk about the release? Maybe some, obviously it's funded already, but you got some stretch goals there. You want to hit on some of those dates?
Absolutely. And yes, that is correct. These have been geared to be sold worldwide, internationally. So there have been solicitations for retail buyers, solicitations for the comic book direct market, for card hobby shops. So yes, the Kickstarter platform is another method of reaching an audience. It is another marketing outreach. So yes, some of this stuff will be available in other venues, depending on where you live and depending on how quickly the printer produces everything. Because what we're talking about now is literally on press in production right now. Physical card printing, cutting, shrink wrapping, all of it is happening and will continue to happen for the weeks to come. So the short answer is yes, it's definitely a way to get more of this product, if you will, into as many hands as possible. There are folks that live in areas, maybe not necessarily this country, but certainly in other countries, in places where they don't have access to a retail shop or someplace to go buy something. So this becomes a fallback where they can pick it up, the Kickstarter audience.
Oh, that's
On
great.
on top of that, we have specifically created original content, original cards, original configurations, original material that is found nowhere else. You can only get it on Kickstarter. So the answer is yes. Some of this is available in other places. The answer is also no. There's exclusive stuff that we specifically have targeted for Kickstarter.
Awesome. We've got another question here from the Drugger Says the Kickstart shipping date shows November. I guess we'll find out if it'll be available then, or do you feel like there may be a delay? No, I don't want to use the word delay, but it might be a different date.
It's a great question. There are, again, 2 sets in production being produced simultaneously in tandem. And I just got done outlining before the hand collation. The hand collation is not a machine. The hand collation is a human being going through this stuff, making decisions, looking at the cards, matching the art, making sure that a box doesn't have a duplicate of the same artist, or if there is, that it's definitely the same artist doing a Decepticon card and then an Autobot card. So if we're asking folks to pay a large amount for a guaranteed collectible, we want to make 100% sure that what they're getting is going to be worth the money that they're paying. Yeah. So everyone's working as quickly as they can. Everyone's doing the best that they can. If there are delays, if there are delays, it's my fault. They can blame me. I'm the guy.
Well, so just to be frank, as someone who's back,
wait, I thought you were Spidey. What do you mean? Wait a minute.
Let me be frank, Spidey. That in terms of Kickstarter turnaround times, November would be the fastest I've ever heard. Many of them take a year. So
no, that's okay. So wait, that's not happening now.
Yeah.
Kickstarters typically run for 30 days. I'm not sure how long this campaign is actually running, but typically they're 30 days. At the conclusion of the Kickstarter, nothing is 100% automatic.
Right.
Kickstarter has to tabulate payments. People are given options to fill out surveys. There's like all kinds of chicanery that goes on behind the scenes before they release the actual list and say, hey, here are your buyers and here's their mailing address. So I believe that's going to be about a 3 to 4 week process after the campaign closes. So yeah, I guess based on the calendar where we are now, we're looking at the end of October, then we're looking another, 2-3 weeks after that, middle of November. It's certainly not going to be a year because all of this stuff is in production.
It's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening as we speak. I don't want to talk anymore. I want Simon to talk.
Yeah.
I've heard enough of me.
I've got to go here. Castro says, what a surprise and pleasure to see Simon Furman, Alpha Flight, What If, Judge Dredd, and so much more, and many great books.
Yeah, I mean, I've done, obviously, Transformers has been the kind of backbone and spine of my career, but I've worked on many other things. Death's Head, is one of my characters, and that came from the old days of Marvel UK, but I've worked on Alpha Flight, I've worked on What If, She-Hulk, Terminator for Dynamite, and across the board really. But yeah, Transformers is kind of the freelancer gift that keeps giving for me.
I love that.
It's absolutely been there my whole career. I'm still working on several Transformers games at the moment, and obviously there's the trading card set. So yeah, there's lots of other things I've written, but Transformers I think will always be my mainstay.
That's beautiful. Well, Simon,
Spidey, if I may add one more thing.
Yeah.
I was at Marvel back in the 90s. As you know, I worked with Bob Budiansky. I've been in the industry for a long time. I've never had the opportunity to work with Simon. I might have met you, Simon, once here or there at a convention or whatever, but we really didn't get to work together. This gentleman is a pleasure. He is a professional's professional. He was fantastic to work with. I just want to get that out there, Simon. You
That's
are wonderful.
very nice of you, Mariano, and it's been brilliant working on this, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. It feels like a proper 40th anniversary celebration.
Oh, that is awesome. I love that. And if I can, I would get Simon to respond to these images that we're throwing up on the screen. Can you see those?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are original pack art illustrations, so the boxes with the toys would have these. And once upon a time, before we had the animation turnarounds to work from, these were the artist reference, So I remember back in the day sending out flat packs to artists and saying, this is your character right here, draw him, but make him work for a comic books. Because, obviously the toys were quite intricate and we had to streamline those. So, here's Grimlock, and, very much, these are the characters that I started out with in these forms. So it's great to see them again, and they look gorgeous.
Oh, they're awesome. They just have that, I don't know, nostalgic, pull to them.
And this actually is one of the card backs. That last one was one of the card backs I wrote specifically for the set. So, Mariano asked me to find 15 characters that had some kind of resonance with me and my career writing Transformers. So I picked a bunch of characters that, I've just got a history with, I guess. And so there's a certain amount of personalization in this set as well. And I think people who've followed my stories over the year will kind of like the range of selection in these character cards.
Well, we're going to go through a few of them here. So we've got Ravage.
Yep. One of my first characters I wrote in Transformers was Ravage. My first ever story, called The Enemy Within, featured Ravage. So I have a definite soft spot for the stealthy beast.
So I got to ask you something. The first Transformers movie, what was it called?
The first, are we talking about the animated movie?
Animated movie, yeah. Like from the 80s.
It was just Transformers the movie. I mean,
okay,
now they tuck animated into that, so we know it's that one. But that was amazing.
That opening scene where the Unicron is destroying an entire planet, like, for kids to see that, like to have the courage to write that and make that into an animated movie that kids are going to watch, like, to me, I was like thinking through that, like, that took a lot of guts, but it set the drama, right? Like, it set the level of like what's at stake. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't know if you were a part of that or if you wanted to speak to that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't part of the animated movie itself, but in the UK, in the Transformers comic, we spun so many stories out of the end of that movie. We had time travel things going on. We used Galvatron and Ultra Magnus. So we really went to town on that animated movie. And it became, really the mainstay of the UK Transformers comics. So yeah, it was a big deal for us. And it blew me away back in the day. I hadn't really seen animation like it.
Feels a little bit ahead of his time, that's for sure. And here we have some sketch cards that might be found in some of these packs.
Mariano, do you want to speak a bit about these?
We reached out to over 300 US-based and international artists and pulled in 300 different artists to work on this set. So everyone and everything was actually run through Hasbro for approval. So all of this material was reviewed, processed, commented, and so on to create the final sketch cards that we have. So yes, in the deluxe packs, 2 of these sketch cards are guaranteed per pack, the mini box, and in the collector set, sketch cards, metal cards, and signed cards are being randomly inserted. So you have a reasonable chance, 1 per box, of one of these to pop up.
Awesome.
And of
You know-
course, on the crowdfunder, there are specific tiers where you can purchase sketch cards. There are actually custom sketch cards in the crowdfunder, 5 inches by 7 inches, which are not available anywhere else.
Oh, wow.
So there's some really,
Jumbo card.
yeah, I don't want to keep saying cool stuff, but there's some stuff that we're all very proud of having been involved with and developed.
Well, that is awesome. I love it.
I've got to say the Bob Budiansky sketch cards blew me away, because Bob obviously is the writer of Transformers back in the day, but he was an artist on Ghost Rider and many other things. And wow, some of his cards that he did just really blew me away.
Some of those cards ended up as print art cards in the
wow, because they're that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, to get an original art sketch card that's approved through the license maker from an original creator of the character, I don't know that you could get something better than that.
Hasbro has a tremendous amount of respect, affection for Bob, Simon, and other artists and creators that were part of the genesis of all of this. The package artists, all the folks that were involved from the very beginning are held to a very high exalted position, if you will. Yeah. So they were just as thrilled to have Bob and to have Simon on board and to look at the stuff that they were working on and to comment on it, and they just loved it all. They love it all.
And by the way, if you're a fan of 1990s Marvel cards, just know that Bob Budiansky was involved in, I believe, 11 of those original 90s trading card sets. So we're talking about someone who knows trading cards and loves them, I suspect, because of the effort that he's put into them. And it feels like that came out in his involvement with these cards as well.
And very much so, because I worked under Bob Budiansky at Marvel in the 90s, and I could say that he taught me a tremendous amount of what I still carry on to this day for trading cards. So yes, that's a spot-on observation, sir.
Well, I think that should excite anybody that's a trading card fan. Here we said, Cap says, my bank is going to be mad at me when I get through with this set.
The collector in you will love it.
Yeah.
I know how that feels,
yeah, we all do, for sure. Our friend, the Druggernaut, says, if you ever get a chance to see Simon at a convention, you should go.
Yeah, well, I hope to be back at an American convention very soon. I was at TFCon Toronto just recently, so I normally try and get one North American convention in a year.
Awesome, I love that. Our friend Derpa says, claim all Soundwave cards. I have a question for you, and thinking about my friend there who's a sketch card collector. And if this is something that you're not ready to reveal or talk about yet, that's fine. Just don't feel obligated. But in trading cards, when there's pack inserted sketch cards, oftentimes the company will make available something called an artist proof blank sketch card, where you might be able to get a commission from an artist from that set. Have you guys thought about making some of those type of official blanks available where they could commission art from an artist?
Great question, Spidey, and not anything hard to answer. So different companies over the years have treated sketch cards in different ways. Many of them followed the mold that you're talking about, where they print cards that they call AP cards, and artists receive them. At Dynamite, we sort of spun that a little. There's no such thing as an AP card for Dynamite. However, when we hire these artists, by ratio, if they're taking X amount of cards, they will get one extra card for their personal use. So the short and the long answer to what could have been a short one is yes, the artists involved in the set will be available for commissions. However, they're not going to be able to do that until January of 2025. They can display the work they've done, but they can't take commissions on the set until everything has been out in the marketplace and everyone has a chance to purchase it.
Well, and that's kind of cool because it allows people to figure out like maybe who is going to be their favorite artist in the set if they're able to see some of that work prior to January 2025. But it's great to know that if you see an artist in the set and you like them, you got to be first to get to them to see if you can get one of their commission cards.
On their waiting list. You got to be first to get on their wait because it's not until January 2025.
Well, after, January 2025. But that is really great information. I'm glad I asked that question. That's awesome. Let's see here. I'm looking. Our friend Manu says he loves a good 5x7 card. And
a couple of opportunities to get those.
And here, Robert says, I really appreciate the fact that they are offering the mini boxes from the deluxe premium set separately as an add-on for people like me who really can't afford the larger box. Very happy with my pledge.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And the Pokemon Dentist says, is this a product by Hasbro? I'm going to let you tackle that one, Mariano.
So Hasbro owns Transformers, and Hasbro licenses Transformers and G.I. Joe, and all the properties they own are licensed to people that specialize in different things. So as Simon noted, Skybound, I think it is doing the current iteration of Transformers.
Yep.
So that's a comic book company, and they're handling the comic book. We received the trading card license. So we're working on all things Transformers trading cards. So Hasbro owns it. Dynamite has the license to produce it.
Yeah. And so this is an officially licensed Transformers trading card set.
Great way to put it. What a tagline. Simon, write that down. Let's remember that. Officially licensed. Love it. Love it.
It's important in the trading card community that it is the official. Like this is it. And for my understanding with you guys, like you mentioned that you in a way have a global license. Like it's available to be produced globally, and I think that's a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, and
either that or Mariano went rogue, and you're seeing some crazy stuff out there.
Well, yeah, we won't hold you to it, but we're happy that we want all Transformer fans to be able to get access to their cards.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I have another question here. Is there a Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime card?
I believe there is. There are hundreds of cards. There are, for some of the characters that we couldn't fit in the main set, we put them in what we're calling one-of-one cards. And for the 40th anniversary, we created 40 different one-of-one cards. So those one-of-one cards may have some of these characters. That particular character sounds familiar, so I believe he may be in the base set. And then there's also the sketch card artists. They had free reign to go crazy and draw whatever they wanted to draw. So there are many characters that are in the sketch card environment as opposed to the printed card environment.
We've got Frank Castro says, is the license limited to the 40th anniversary set, or are there intentions for Dynamite to make future Transformer sets?
The way that the relationship is progressing, it looks like there will be more. However, I can't speak to that. I'm going to say I would love more, and I'm hoping the fans want to see more, and I know Simon wants to see more. So let's all keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, let's make sure this Kickstarter goes off well and the release goes off well. That's always the best way to ensure that you might get more, right? So if you're a Transformers fan and you want to see more, you want to make sure you're backing what's out there right now, assuming that you love it. And I'm assuming that you do. Cha says, if you're a Transformers fan, I urge you to check out Simon's work on the Transformer UK magazine. Really incredible stuff.
Yes.
Thank you, Carl. That's really good of you to say. We had such fun writing those stories.
Awesome. Well, we are you're over 65,000 in terms of total dollars backed, 274 backers. I think that's awesome. And looking forward to those stretch goals being hit. If you're not on Kickstarter, Kickstarter does have an app. I did include a link in the description below where you can go straight to this Transformers 40th Anniversary Limited Edition trading card release. So you can check out the different options that are there and different ways that you can back this project. 29 days left, so it won't be here forever. So you want to make sure you get it done. Mariano, Simon, is there anything else you would like to address before we wrap it up?
Well, I hope to be here for the 50th and the 60th anniversary sets. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think this could be the next phase of my career, really.
Oh, I love that.
And I would love to be on board as well. Spidey has been wonderful. You've been an amazing host, and want to thank you for opening up the show to us and to your audience, and for your great audience and the great questions that came our way.
Look, I appreciate that. I can't even imagine the amount of work that it takes to put together something like a 40th anniversary set, beginning with obtaining the ability to do it, and then the creative process and thought process, and then the actual grunt labor it takes to produce a trading card set. When you couple that with 40 years of Simon and other creators pouring their heart and soul into these characters and the art and the writing, I think it's really important to try to honor that as best you can when you have an opportunity. And I hope I've done that today.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, look, make sure you go check out the Kickstarter. And if you enjoy Transformers, make sure you back it. I think you're going to really enjoy it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you check out the description and links below to be able to access the Kickstarter link. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how this goes. And maybe we'll follow up in the end whenever it's all done.
Sounds great.
All right. Everybody, thank you for watching. Do me a favor, if you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. But as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.